presents Dead On Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations, you're listening to Otherworldly Culture presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight, we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on Otherworldlyculture.com and on future select Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. You can join our live chat at that time by clicking on the live show link on Otherworldlyculture.com. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the land of lakes and landfills, Muskego, Wisconsin. Dead On Movie Reviews is now one of 3 rotating shows on Dead On Thursdays. Alternating weeks, you will see our program, this program, or it could be Dead On the Bases, our horror sports mashup, or our newest offering, Now Streaming, which is a panel discussion on a film on a free ad-supported streaming service. On Mondays, we now have a half-hour program called the Monday Mayhem. It'll be coming back in about a week or two. Still working out some bugs with that program. And we're awfully excited to share it with all of you. And speaking of all of us, it's my honor to introduce the Faculty of Fear panel that will be presenting tonight's lectures. Starting in the Motor City of Detroit, Michael Cieslak is a lifetime reader and writer of horror, mystery, and speculative fiction. He has served as an officer in the Great Lakes Association of Horror Writers and is the editor of the Eerie Tales anthologies. Michael is the editor-in-chief of Dragon's Roost Press, and his works have appeared in a number of collections, including DOA Extreme Horror, Dead Science, Vicious Verses, and Reanimated Rhymes, and the collaborative steampunk novel, Army of Brass. He is a kilt enthusiast, and he's killing it over at thedragonsroost.biz. Let's say hello to Michael Cieslak.
Hello, and early happy Halloween.
Halloween, in fact, is coming right around the corner. Have you made all your prep? I know you like to decorate quite a bit, right?
I would have finished my prep today, except every time I stepped out of the house, it started pouring down rain. Yeah. And I did not want to set up the lights and the electrical stuff in that. Other than that, I'm good to go.
Fantastic. Now, going to a new location in Ohio, an unspecified location in Ohio, we have Adam Holtzapfel. He's back from the Diz, and he's taking a whiz on a new movie tonight. As usual, he exhaustively searched every nook, every cranny, every dark corner of the internet by clicking on a button that's marked Shudder on his smart television. He's the Taco King. Here's Adam. How are you doing, Adam?
Good, Tim. How's it going?
Fantastic over here. So glad to get you back on the show. It's been a while. Are you ready for Halloween, Adam?
Yeah, again, they're going to be out of town, so not overdoing it this year. So,
all right. Fantastic. And in our cleanup position, it is Mike Exler. He's back again today as the denizen of the dismal, the purveyor of the putrid, the exciting exclaimer of glorious gloom wrestling up from his stony tomb. He's the monster, the mad, the cool, the glad, and that sack of mumbling, moaning pus that barfs out baloney. He's the one, and there are many, but he's our very own panel-purveying provocateur, Coach Michael Exler.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me on this wonderful show on this wonderful evening.
We're absolutely glad to see you. Now, I'm seeing a lot of green in the decorations behind you. Or is that just the coloration? Is it a dark green or a black? Or
No,
are you going Halloween or Christmas behind you?
No, that's the full Spawn, movie action figure line.
All right. Fantastic. Now, are you all Halloweened up over there?
Yeah, we don't go too crazy. We just put up a couple things and make the house, feel a little nice and but nothing crazy.
Yeah, I'm down to a couple little pumpkins that you plug in, and I still want to set up. I have one of those projectors where you can put stuff on the window shade, and I want to put that up tomorrow. That's my
Nice.
big plan. The problem is by us, they want the kids to be out too early in the day. They're not going to see what I'm putting on the screen. Because, it's a cheap projector. It was like a $50 Target deal. But, oh well. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. And we're going to get things started asking our good friend Michael Cieslak, what have you been watching?
I actually went to the movie theater and paid, which is not something that I usually do. I know,
Are you
right?
okay?
It was not a free preview. It was also amusing side note. We've been in the new house, trademark, we're starting our third year, and this was the first time the missus had gone to the local movie theater. So she was very excited by the VIP seating with the zero gravity heated seats. Fortunately, we got there in time that she could play with it for 5 minutes before the previews actually started. Otherwise, that would have been kind of distracting.
Fantastic.
We did go and see the movie Good Boy. I was a little torn about this one because I know going in that spoilers that are all over the internet, but in case you were wondering, the dog does not die in this movie, but there are some scenes where the dog is in jeopardy. And I wasn't sure how that would work for me, but in the end, I thought, okay, it's an interesting experiment. I want to go see it. It was just too intriguing to pass up. Indy, the dog, appears to be amazing. There's a lot of talk about, at least on my social media thing, about getting Indy nominated for the Academy Award. If you sit through the credits, there is an interesting, it's not even a post-credit scene. It's a post-credit mini documentary where the director and writer Ben Lowenberg explains how some of these shots were done and how they made it look like the dog was reacting to certain things in a certain way when he actually wasn't. And I forgot the name of it. I was going to look it up and write it down, and I totally forgot to. But essentially, they do a picture, they do a scene, a shot of an individual, in this case the dog, and then you cut to something that would invoke a certain emotion. So in this case, a lot of times you look at the dog's face and then you cut over to something really creepy happening, and it makes the audience feel, oh, that dog is feeling scared because of what the audience is feeling. And it was very well done.
And this was a real dog. This wasn't crypto.
This was not a CG dog. This was actually the director's dog, whose name is Indy. I can only assume named for the Jones dog. The basic plot of the film is that Indy's owner, Todd, played by Shane Jensen, who you do not see a lot of. In fact, you do not see a lot of many of the actors because it's not a strict canine POV. It's not like you're looking through Michael's mask at the beginning of Halloween, but you are shot from, let's say, a dog's eye view. So a lot of times you're seeing from like waist or mid-chest down, and I'll come back to that in a second. So if you're looking to see a whole lot of emotive acting and facial stuff from the actors, this is not the movie for you because you don't get to see the actors very much at all, which is an interesting cinematic choice. Todd has an unspecified illness. one of the early scenes, you see him coughing up blood, and then he's in the hospital, and he decides now that he's out of the hospital, he's going to go to the old family homestead, off the grid, way out in the sticks. And we all know that's a great idea if you're in a horror movie, is to go off, somewhere in the wilderness. But it's just Todd and Indy, and they're exploring, and it is far out in the boonies. And Indy starts to see things and react to things. And anyone that's had a pet in the house, a dog or a cat, knows how creepy it is when that animal just suddenly fixates on like the corner of the room or stares into a closet. And you start thinking, okay, what is it that they're seeing that I'm not seeing? Right. Well, in this movie, you get to see what the dog is seeing, and it's not good. It's not something that you'd want to have in your house walking around with you at all.
Now, they're not doing the thing where they have, Richard Dreyfuss or something doing narration in the voice of Indy.
You do not
don't get that, right?
You don't get the dog speaking. It's not look who's talking to or whatever. Okay. All of your reaction shots are just the dog's facial and body reactions. And again, really well done. Better than some movies that I, won't mention that I've watched for other shows that we've done. Much, much better acting than...
And those were humans.
The film deals a lot with coming to grips with grief and with loss, and it's kind of heavy in that part. So I would, if that's something that would be triggering for you, I would say pass on this one. There are some things that I did not care for in the movie. Primarily, chief among these is the fact that Todd, he's just not a good dog owner. He's not a good companion human. I don't know if you can see I've got my own good girl on my shirt today. He allows Indy to run off in the wilderness even after he knows that there are fox traps that are set out there. There's a scene towards the end which makes sense cinematically, and I won't go into too much detail in case someone wants to go out and see it, and it does evoke emotions very strongly. But even without the supernatural element, I was pissed off. I was like, you are not... I don't like you at all, and I hope you die, dog owner. That being said... I think it's worth seeing just from the cinematic tricks that are used in this movie. I've never seen a movie that was told this way. I mentioned the not seeing the actors' faces for a lot of it, and that was one thing that kind of irked me as a dog owner, because my dogs look me in the face all the time. Sometimes not when I want them to, because, like, for example, Tessa was just trying to do the Jedi mind trick and get me to give her chicken when I was eating dinner. But the fact that Indy's not looking directly in Todd's face made me think, see, even Indy knows you're kind of a jerk. The post-credits thing, that little mini documentary I was talking about, it does make you feel better afterwards, because they explain the shooting process and how it was actually a very happy shooting process, which, interestingly, over the course of 3 years, they made this film. It was 400 shooting days. So that is a long, long shooting schedule.
Jeez.
Hours of setup and retakes just to get like an 8-second reaction scene. Don't work with dogs and kids, to quote W.C. Fields.
398 more days than Little Shop of Horrors.
I would love to see a full documentary about the making of this movie, but one of the things about that was that made you feel better because you're like, okay, I was feeling all icky because of what went on in the movie, but now I see that it was like, they were making duck noises and that's what the dog was actually reacting to. So you walk out of the theater not, ready to go kill somebody or...
Yeah, I think the word is, what is it? Anthropomorphize?
Anthropomorphizing, yes.
Yeah, that we often look at an animal and attribute human emotions to it, and usually the animal is just hungry.
Yeah. I just want to take a nap, man.
Yeah. Why are you bothering me right now?
The scary portions, the supernatural element of it, also really well done. Not gory, but very icky. It like sits right here on you for a while. Like, oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
So that pretty much wrap. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to give anything away.
Okay, we're getting the grading set up. I will tell you, I watched the movie The Dogs on 2025 movie on Amazon Prime. You're going to want to avoid that one. That one is not good.
Thank you for the warning. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I know you're a dog lover, and I know that Mike is as well. And that is not... Other Mike. I mean, got so many Mikes tonight. So, what are you going to grade Good Boy?
I would say that Good Boy is a good movie. I'll give it a B.
A B. A flat B. There we go. Drawing that on a sheet of paper. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. And it's still at theaters, I believe, as of right now. But I thought I saw it's coming to Amazon later on in like November or something. So I'm already planning.
It should be pretty much done with its theatrical run at this point. Okay. So I would not be surprised if it pops up on one of the I have to pay for it streaming services soon.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're going to move now to Adam. Adam, what have you been watching?
I've been watching Night of the Reaper. It's a Shudder original, can also be found on AMC Plus. Came out a little over a month ago. Clocks in at 93 minutes, directed by Brendan Christensen, who had also done Superhost and Puppet Man. And it was also written by him and Ryan Christensen. So this has a very 80s feel to it, kind of reminiscent of House of the Devil, which I hate comparing it to that, but it has that feel to it from the scenery. It follows the story of Dina, who's home for her sister's funeral, who kind of gets roped into a babysitting gig while there's a slasher on the loose. Has a lot of red herrings and a lot of kind of whodunit vibes. Is very well acted. Had a good amount of gore in it. And it's just a fun movie all around. It wasn't anything you really had to think too hard on or absorb yourself in. But it's kind of good to see slashers making a comeback with this and Hard Eyes. So it's good to see the genres alive and well.
Honestly, when I was looking for the pictures and stuff for this one, I wasn't sure if this was going to be supernatural or a slasher. I really didn't know what to mark it down for our keywords, if it was a slasher or not. So I'm glad you came right out and told me.
Yeah, definitely no supernatural element to it. Straightforward slasher, just kind of what if you're a slasher fan, what you'd want from the film. Pacing was a little up and down. There were a few spots that seemed a little long for it being a 93-minute film, but overall it didn't make or break it for me.
Fantastic. Okay, is it grading time or?
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away just because of all the red herrings in it.
It sounds like it's a mystery movie, which a lot of these,
Yeah, a little mystery, a little drama thrown in there. I'd say it's a solid B. It's a good Friday night flick.
Okay. So far we've had 2 movies and 2 Bs. Michael Cieslak, it's good to have our author here. I was reading somewhere that like all slasher movies can actually be back to an Agatha Christie novel. Have you ever heard that before? That there was like an Agatha Christie novel, like, and then there were none or something like that. That was like the first slasher. Have you ever heard that one?
I've not heard that theory, but I could see someone making that argument.
Exler, have you ever heard that one? I know you're a slasher expert too.
No, not on the literary side. I know Halloween always gets the nod for that, but Black Christmas was before that.
Right.
But the original slasher is Peeping Tom.
Right.
I don't remember. I don't know if that's the 60s. It might be the 60s. I don't know.
I think it came out around the same time as Psycho did.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to talk interesting slasher theories? I recently heard the theory that the first Predator movie is essentially a slasher movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger as the final girl.
It worked.
And I laughed so hard I had to pause the video I was watching.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I'm looking forward to the new Predator movie.
Yeah.
Same here.
I'm going to watch it.
I really enjoyed the animated Killer of Killers movie that came out. Dan Trachtenberg put that one together, who is directing this new one that's coming out, as well as he had made Prey. So I have...
Prey was fantastic.
I hope... Prey is where they finally paid off that little Easter egg at the end of Predator 2 that we were all waiting for.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Killer of Killers did it 3 times that it paid it off. So it's going to be interesting because I think the new one is actually in the future. It's like a sci-fi thing. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it getting some actual action again. But all right, Adam, thanks again on Night of the Reaper. Mike Exler, what have you been watching?
So Netflix has been having the Monster series. Ryan Murphy from American Horror Story has been doing those. The first one was on Jeffrey Dahmer. The second was on the Menendez brothers. And the third one is the Ed Gein story. So he takes us to Plainfield, Wisconsin once again. I wanted to start this off kind of like I enjoyed the show, but I can't do that. There are so many issues with the show that it literally episode 4, my wife and I are like, do we have to finish this?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking we're not going to keep our string of bees.
I'm thinking the same.
No. So it was kind of like, well, we're invested, so maybe we should just continue. And that was a bad choice. That was a choice we made, and we suffered for it. Charlie Hunnam plays Ed Gein. There's a movie, I forget the full title of it, but they had Kane Hodder playing Ed Gein. And it's about as preposterous as Charlie Hunnam playing fucking Ed Gein. There was a scene in particular that he takes his shirt off or something of that sort. Never, ever did Ed Gein ever have a six-pack of any sort. He was this feeble little dude,
Yes.
which comes to play later on in my review.
By the way, the movie you're referring to was made in 2007. It's called Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield.
That's with Kane?
That's the Kane Hodder version.
Okay, and then there was another one with Steve Railsback.
Right. And
that was just called Ed Gein, I think, or just Gein.
I believe that one's just Ed Gein. I'm looking it up feverishly.
That is a film that I highly recommend over this mess.
Well, that's the best one so far.
Yeah, so far. It's factual, and his portrayal, I think, was pretty spot on.
Actually, this is interesting. It was made in 2000, the Steve Railsback version. It's usually named Ed Gein, but its original title is In the Light of the Moon. I had never heard that before. I've always called it Ed Gein.
Yeah, because he famously said that he would dance in the moonlight in the skin.
Right.
So I guess that makes sense.
Strange title.
Yeah. There's going to kind of be some spoilers in this, so I'll kind of say when I might spoil something, but I beg you, don't watch this. There are so many other. There are documentaries. There's the movie. Watch the Kane movie. I mean, you can make fun of it for what it is. Okay, we'll start off with. Okay, I talked about Ed Gein never having a six-pack. So we move on to the story. The one shining bright spot of the entire mess that is the show was Aunt Jackie, Laurie Metcalf, as his mom. I thought she did a great job. She's a heck of an actor, and she was a bright spot in all of this. Some people online and some people that I talked to had some issue with his voice. I'm not quite sure why they went with the voice that they went with. There's plenty of audio of Ed Gein when he spoke with doctors. He never spoke to the FBI, by the way. The behavioral science unit from Mindhunters, that comes into play later as well. But there is voice recording speaking with doctors and attorneys and such. Mm-hmm. So they went with this voice that was kind of, I don't know what they were trying to do. The whole thing felt like, and towards the end of the series, it was like, okay, we are really pushing to make this man a sympathetic figure. And I am sympathetic to Ed Gein that he had undiagnosed schizophrenia and was obviously on the spectrum or slow of some sort, and he had an abusive mother. That I am very sympathetic to, and I'm sorry that happened to him. Everything else, he was a monster, and we shouldn't, we shouldn't forget what he did because of the life he had. It sucks, but I don't know. The glorification of these guys is weird to me.
They did that to an extent with Dahmer as well. And I haven't watched the Melendez one yet because I was concerned about that.
Yeah, I don't care about the Menendez brothers. That's why I didn't watch it. I figured he would do that because, I mean, the dude that played Dahmer it's not Dahmer. It's very like sexy boy Dahmer, if there's such a thing. But there wasn't a lot of, from my knowledge with Dahmer, it kept sort of true to the story from what I can remember. There were some additions. There were some, liberties taken.
There were dramatic liberties. Being a person that lived in Milwaukee while it was going down, there was parts that I went, you're making this into something that isn't.
Right.
I mean, the thing that I always point out, they were very much villainizing the two cops, but nobody ever looks at the judge that was looking at him for 3 days in court and didn't do anything about him at all. But the cops that saw him for 7 minutes out in the street, they should have known he was a monster. This guy was walking around Milwaukee for years, killing people, and nobody knew. Nobody. But, and I think with Ed Gein, I think the thing is, everybody knew he was wrong, but nobody knew how wrong. That's my take on him. Is that what this was portraying, or?
They portrayed him as everyone thought he was harmless. That's just Eddie Gein.
Yeah. But he's slow, right?
Yeah, no one ever said he was slow. That did not. No one said that. Whatever. No one said that. His mother was awful to him.
Yeah,
as we know. Which happened, but I guess bringing up the Dahmer one, I guess I'm saying like the non-factual stuff didn't just ruin the fucking show. Like it was kind of like, I don't know about all that, but whatever. Straight out lies were given in this movie or this TV show. Things happened that never happened. The only good parts of the story that was told did not happen. Ed Gein killed two women. The lady at the bar, and then the lady at the hardware store. The lady, the one in the bartender was kind of pretty much truthful. The one in the hardware store was an out and out lie. He killed her more out of necessity. But in this, they had this little spoiler alert. In this one, they had them having sex with each other.
Really?
Yeah. He was having sex with this lady, and she thought they were going to get married. And I guess this lady was like the town whore and all this stuff. And his dead mom found out about it, and she was all pissed. I don't know how the dead mom found out about it. And he said he had venereal diseases and shit. So that's why he went and blew her head off. So the problem with Ed Gein is he did a lot of awful shit, but there's not the timeline. He didn't do it for very long because his mother controlled him until she died. And then when she died, he spiraled pretty fucking quick to the point of getting caught because he left essentially blood everywhere in the hardware store, and they followed it to his house pretty much. Well,
he was more of a ghoul, right? He was more of a grave robber, and
that's what he was into, was grave robbing, and that's what really got him going, and it escalated to ultimately necrophilia. So that was shown in this series. But there was a lady that they spent an insane amount of time on in this show, and an insane amount of time to the point of they dedicated an entire episode to this woman. And her name is Adeline. You can look her up. She is a real person. So in this show, they portrayed her as the girl that showed Ed Gein the Nazi magazines and Nazi photos of the Holocaust and got him interested in all this. False.
I like how you just say it's false.
Yeah, it's just not true. So I did a little digging. This lady, basically when Ed was caught, he was in the national spotlight. So she wanted her 15 minutes. So she said that they had dated for 20 years. She gave this interview, said all this shit, and how they would talk about the bodies and blah, blah, blah. And she then turned around and recanted absolutely everything. and they went fishing and saw a movie when they knew each other for like a 6-week period of time in 1954. And she'd admitted she just wanted attention. So these people took that and interwoven her story into his story. And like I said, a whole episode was dedicated to just her. You didn't see Ed at all in that episode. Now, along with this, to tell an Ed Gein story, it's going to be tough because, no pun intended, there's not a lot of meat on the bone with this story. So what these creators just did was they were going to tell stories within the story about the making of Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then later they touch on just a little bit Silence of the Lambs. Okay. So as the Ed Gein story is going along, you have the Psycho story. So we see Hitchcock and Perkins and everything, and how that movie, it almost didn't get made, and Hitchcock had to push for that. Again, I don't know how true any of that is, so I just kind of watched it for what that was. And that filled some time. That lasted several episodes of that simultaneous story, which I thought was kind of a decent idea of, showing the franchise or a film being made, of the guy that inspired it, I guess. Mm-hmm. So that was an element of it. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre part was ludicrous.
That's a movie you know quite a bit about.
They portrayed Tobe Hooper as this guy that was giving the society the film it deserved. In talking to Bill Moseley for 7 billion times that I have, he knew Tobe, obviously, and Tobe always said that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to him is a comedy. Bill was like, that's weird. And he's like, yeah, it is. It's a comedy. So that's Tobe Hooper. He coked out Dr. Pepper fan. That's him. He was not trying to make a point. He was trying to make money to get rid of a debt. That's what it was to very unscrupulous people. So, again, just more bullshit. So I'm sure the Hitchcock stuff was bullshit because this whole thing has been a bunch of lies and nonsense. Wow. So it continues on. We have the whole episode on her. Then we get into the Silence of the Lambs a little bit. Ed gets caught. And the full court press of making him a sympathetic figure is now, from the last 3 episodes on, is in full force, without a doubt. They are just trying to make him look like he didn't deserve what he got. And what he got wasn't too bad. It was, he was in a mental, he was in mental institution. He wasn't even in prison.
Yeah.
He was found guilty by the reason of insanity. So he did not.
Which, frankly, he needed to be there.
Yeah, that's exactly where he needed to be. And then here's another thing that pissed me off about it too, is he had all these like unscrupulous deals with like some of the staff members that could get him some things like women's underwear to wear. The real story is they found the medicine that worked and got him away from that house element of his. Mm-hmm. And he was the perfect patient till the day he died. Yeah. That was the fucking story of Ed Gein after he was caught, not the garbage that they were trying to show us. Now,
that's a shame.
Getting to the final scene, I want you guys to play this game with me. Pretend you're a casting director, okay? You get a script in front of you that says the Ed Gein story. Then you're flipping through, seeing who you got to cast, and you see backup dancers.
What?
Yeah, backup dancers. What do you just throw that in the trash and find another, like, say, I'm not doing this job? Or what do you do as a casting director if an Ed Gein story requires backup dancers?
I cashed a check.
I mean,
I wouldn't put a lot of time into it because they obviously don't give a fuck.
no, so
I'd hire the guys from the Full Monty.
It was people dancing in the institution, and again, just trying to make him. I hate to keep saying this, but a sympathetic figure, and it just complete and total nonsense. They were close to an hour each episode, so it's 8 episodes, so it's 8 hours. Again, I assume the Ed Gein one with Steve Railsback is under 2 hours, so I would watch that.
Couldn't we? I mean, the movie Hitchcock, which is really about the movie Psycho, that one does a great job of explaining how that movie was made. Tell people to go watch that for that. There are making of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Why do all these series have to be 8 or 10 episodes? I don't know. It.
I just saw a picture that you have for this, and this is going to be a spoiler. And is it okay if I spoil it for you guys? Are you guys going to watch this?
I going in, I wasn't going to watch this.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm not.
So there is one point where, in reality, when he kills the lady in the hardware store owner, they literally track his truck tires back to his house, and that's the end of the story. They find everything, and that's it. In this one, 2 hunters get lost and stumble upon his house, and they don't go to the house. They decide to go to the barn. So they go to the barn to get out of the storm, and they're cold, and they walk in, and then they find the famous lady with the head cut off, and she's strung up like a deer. That's the hardware store lady. Ed sees them, so they start running. So he gets a chainsaw, and he starts running after them. He then stops to put on a Leatherface-looking mask, and then he chases these 2 hunters down and chainsaws them like Leatherface would do. Again, like a thing I told in the beginning, he was just a feeble little dude. He never chased anybody down. He only killed 2 people. So
right, he didn't kill any hunters. Now, I do know he wore masks of other people's faces. That he did. Yes. That's where the whole Leatherface thing came from, was that idea.
Correct. But they had him do the famous Leatherface dance with the chainsaw.
Oh, for crying in a bucket.
Yeah, these are all theories and rumors and weird speculations that have all been disproven over time. And it sounds to me like the people that put this together were like, well, we could do an hour and a half, or we can stretch it out for 8 hours by, doing a Google search for weird Ed Gein stuff and just throw all of that stuff in there too.
It's wild. They even... At one point in the show, because I don't think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, did Ed Gein use a chainsaw ever?
Ed Gein couldn't pick up a chainsaw.
Yeah, I don't think he did, because it's funny. He's talking to this Adeline girl, his girlfriend or whatever, and they were talking about the best way to dispose of a body. And he was like, you never use a chainsaw because it's too messy and you can't control the cuts. He's like, you need a fine tooth hacksaw. So all of a sudden, he throws that out the window and uses every chainsaw that he could possibly see. The movie contradicts itself. It's so great.
Wasn't Ed Gein like the 50s? Or was he?
Yeah.
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 Chainsaws
he
were
was
not
like-
readily available all over the place, I don't think, in the 50s.
Yeah, he was early 50s.
Yeah.
The early 1950s, yes.
What I always remember reading is he was kind of gutting them like deer. You know, they.
Yes.
That's how he knew how to do it.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah. So I've never seen anybody gut a deer with a chainsaw.
No, you wouldn't do that.
And I've seen some deer piled up in front of sausage places around here after deer hunting season. Never saw a single chainsaw.
No, it's just not the right tool. And he even says that and whatever. So yeah, I'm ready for the grade.
You're ready to poop on it some more. Okay, it's supposed to be opening. There we go.
I just love the sound of defeat in Exler's voice there.
Yeah.
As I'm just ready to grade this piece of
He's so done.
It's just
and it's a B.
It's not going to be a B.
It's a B for bullshit.
There you go.
I mean, I'm going to give this the grade I'm giving it because it looked good. You know what I mean? And again, Charlie did as well as he could with what was given to him. My final grade is a D. If it wasn't acted so well and it didn't look polished as it did, and whomever did the special effects of the the corpses and the skin and everything, A+ to them. Amazing job. But poor execution on the story. And there's so many serial killers. If that's what you want to do, if that's the stories you want to tell, there's so many of them. Why do they continue to pick the same 5? Just find somebody
Name
else.
recognition.
It's just put serial killer in it and people will see. I don't know. There's a new one about John Gacy on Netflix or something. I'm like, what are you going to fucking tell me that we don't already know or hasn't been in a movie or a documentary or a book?
And you said it, so I am blameless for bringing this up again. But the best John Wayne Gacy movie was a made-for-TV movie that didn't really show any of the murders. It was Brian Dennehy, To Catch a Killer. Have any of you guys seen it? I bring it up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just about the police chasing him down. But they were very selective. They only showed at the end of his serial killing. They didn't show how he became a serial killer and all that stuff. But by the end of the movie, because of Dennehy's performance, you really feel what a mess this guy was. And I still, that movie gives me chills whenever I think of it. Go ahead.
The other Gacy movie that I think is the best one is Dear Mr. Gacy with William Forsythe.
Yes.
Yeah, that one is amazing.
That'll show you what Gacy is. And it's not good.
I usually tell people about a true life serial killer. Check out a movie called Citizen X about the serial killer that was in the Soviet Union when it was capital S, capital U over there. It has Donald Sutherland in it and Stephen Ray.
Oh, yeah.
It is fantastic. It's another one where they don't really show the killings. It's just about the police procedure, but it really is chilling.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Sounds decent.
Oh, it's worth it. I think it's on HBO Max because it was like an HBO made for HBO movie. But okay, it is time for my movie, and I wish I could say things are going to get much better from Mike, but I watched the movie The Monkey, which is a 2-hour movie about a 10-page short story that Stephen King wrote. This is in that bunch of Stephen King adaptions where they tried to make connections to all of his other stuff. It's like Easter Egg the movie. One of the murder victims is named Annie Wilkes. They have oddly they put connections to other stuff too. Though they had like Goosebumps stickers. El Rancho Motel is in there. There's a No Food After Midnight is on a marquee at one point. You know, it's just like random stuff. So that's kind of distracting. I would say what this movie is most like is a Tales from the Crypt episode. It's in that world of horror movies that's a cursed item. So this little organ piper monkey toy, which the joke
Puppy
is...
monkey baby?
Yeah, right. They keep not calling it a toy. You know, somebody says toy and says, don't call it a toy. It's a cursed item. Which I loved cursed item horror stuff. I loved the TV series of Friday the 13th, maybe more than the movies. I loved the Twilight Zones with the evil camera and the ventriloquist dummy and all that stuff. I loved the Tales from the Dark Side and, of course, Tales from the Crypt. I love that stuff. And I was sitting there and I'm just like, no, this movie is not capturing it. It is a goofball little movie. It's got its comical parts. I mean, at the beginning, there's a funeral, and the pastor comes up to the mic, and he's going to do his eulogy or whatever, and first thing he says is, fuck, this is bad. And I'm like, what? A pastor? You know, it was like, it was deliberately odd at times. The other thing is, they say, there's a flashback to when the main character is a kid, and it says, this is 1999. And they clearly designed this to look like the 60s. Clearly. And then, it's 1999. And then when they were in modern times, 2025, it clearly looked like 99. And I'm like, did they just change the title cards later on? Because it was crazy. Now, I was on this show not too long ago really talking up the last Final Destination where there's all these freak accidents like that thing has. Well, they do have freak accidents. Basically, this monkey kind of randomly will decide somebody's got to die. It drums a couple of times and then somebody dies in a freak accident. But the whole causality of it and is the monkey actually even involved other than this happens first and that happens second? There's no rules. And usually, and Mike can attest to this, having listened to me over all these years, I usually am not the guy looking for a motive. I hate the Rob Zombie Halloween movies because they set up for hours as to, well, this is why Michael Myers is a bad guy. And I'm like, I don't need that. In this movie, a little bit of explanation would have been very helpful because there's really no story here. It's just a series of events, and I think this was directed by the same guy that did Longlegs. Osgood Perkins, I think is his name. You could tell why he made this movie. He wanted to do these weird freak accidents. He wanted to do that over and over. And that's where he invested all of his time. But it didn't feel very good. It didn't seem to have a story. There, Elijah Wood shows up for a while in the movie as a stepfather. It's like, and they set up Elijah Wood, and then they just kind of dropped him from the movie. And I'm like, wait, this is the character. You know, I thought this was going to be a character that was going to be important in the movie. No, it's just a side character, and they kept moving on. I felt like this is a movie that had no plot, and yet it felt rushed from beginning to end. And I'm like, no, this should have felt stretched because they were taking nothing and trying to make it a 2-hour movie. At one point, they're taking bodies out of one of the crime scenes where one of these deaths occur, and the local cheerleading squad is there cheering them on as they pull out the bodies. And I'm like, okay, so is this supposed to be a parody? Are they even trying to make this scary, or is this actually a dark comedy? But if it's a dark comedy, then it should be making fun of something, and it wasn't. It was just, yeah, here's something funny that happened. I don't get it. I was frustrated by it. I didn't care for it much at all. I'm going to go ahead and grade the thing because it actually isn't worth a whole lot of discussion. I am going to give it... Wow. The buttons are lagging today. Here we go. I'm going to give it... the more I think about it, I was going to give it a C-. I'm going to give it a D+. It just was not good. It wasn't fun to watch. I was hoping for a fun Tales of the Crypt type of thing, particularly at the start. You kind of get the feel that it's got that vibe. No, this was just garbage. Didn't enjoy any part of the film. It's really a shame because I was kind of looking for that. We had, 15 horror movies this year, and I was hoping that one of them would have been a fun movie. We got some pretty scary movies and that sort of thing, but we didn't have that fun horror movie that came out this year. I think that's what this one was aimed at, and it was a swing and a miss. So, unfortunately, did any of you guys see The Monkey? Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It's just not worth your time.
Sounded awesome.
All right, it's that time of the show where we do promos, and we're going to see if I can get things to run properly on this page. That's always fun. We're going to start with our friends over at Horror Realm. At least I thought I was. Let's see. There it comes.
There it is.
There we go. February 27th through March 1st in 2026. We are taking submissions to the film room. You would send it to hrfilmpgh@gmail.com. We have a lot of great guests that are coming this year to Horror Room. The one I'm looking forward to probably second most would be Greg Nicotero, a great makeup magician. We have Derek Mears, who played Jason in the reboot of Friday the 13th. We have
And
William
Swamp Thing.
Catt. Oh, I'm sorry?
And Swamp Thing.
And Swamp Thing. William Catt from House and Carrie, and of course, for people of my age, the greatest American hero. Andrew Diva from the Wishmaster series, and then the one I am most excited about, of course, from Jaws 1 and 2, Jeffrey Kramer. Can't wait to meet him. I just got in a tin sign of the billboard that was vandalized in Jaws, and I am going to have him sign that. I've decided that was
That's
the thing
cool.
I'm going to have him sign. I'm pretty excited about that. We have some people from behind the scenes that are coming this year, including Alan Howarth, is a great composer and did a lot of the worked with John Carpenter quite a bit. We also have Tiffany Shepis is coming out this year for Horror Realm once again. From Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we have Bill Moseley, who was name dropped earlier in tonight's show, and Caroline Williams will also be coming out. From Silent Night, The Deadly Night, we have the first two Santa Clauses, and we have Tara Buckman coming out to Horror Realm. And we have a whole bunch of other folks, including Dina DiLorenzo, who is in Ash vs. Evil Dead. And I'm going to try this again. Ottavio Delacroix from Zombie is going to be there. We have Jennifer Jostin from House of a Thousand Corpses, and the Grim Life Collective podcast is coming out as well. So an exciting time with all of that at Horror Realm this year. Coming here on the channel, there we go. Next week, we're going to have a Now Streaming with Susie, Tim Godak, Marcus, and Jeff. They're going to be watching the movie Chasing Zombies, and that'll be on Otherworldly Culture. We want to remind everybody to subscribe. We're available on all the services you see up there on the screen, and we invite you to take part in Otherworldly Culture. Mike Cieslak, give me a little break here and tell me a little bit about It's Dark in Here.
Gonna say, It's Dark in Here, now available everywhere good books are sold. I actually don't have a whole lot coming up until November. I've got a couple weeks off here. The only big thing that's on my agenda is that on November 1st, if you happen to be in the metropolitan Detroit area, I urge you to come into the Berkeley VFW Hall for the Great Lakes Association of Horror Writers Monster Mash for Literacy Bash. It's a $10 cover charge, cash bar. There will be a free food, dancing, costume contest, and a large number of items. We have a silent auction that we will be having. Tons of fun stuff there.
All right. Fantastic. And you can check that all out at Mike's website. We will have a link in our show notes. And we want to remind everybody that Monday Mayhem with McIntyre and Miller is going to be coming back. We've been having some issues with some of the technical things, and hopefully we're at an end with it. So we hope to be coming back this
Monday. McIntyre Miller Monday.
I think I nailed the ending for the first time ever with that. So looking forward to that. They are doing a series of videos about drive-in movie theater experiences, movie theaters, and now the world of streaming. So I think people might get a kick out of that, a little bit of research that they put into those programs. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank our panelists that really outdid themselves with some great reviews this week, and some great warnings as well.
Yes.
Of movies we probably should avoid. Good time with that. Want to remind everybody to rate us, like us, follow us, subscribe to our podcast. Our main location now is YouTube, but as an audio podcast, we're pretty well everywhere. And if we're not, I'm actively trying to get on there. And we're looking forward to that. I found out that Netflix now is doing podcasts, so another fruitless entreaty will be going out. But I keep trying. We keep slugging. And hope that all of you can join us for future shows. This episode, we are just on the precipice of Halloween, and I want to remind all the people that haven't done their trick-or-treating yet, please be safe out there. There are a lot of crazies, and it isn't just us. So make sure you're safe with all your Halloween activities, but have fun. That's what it's all about. And hope you have a great time watching that Spirit Halloween that you've been visiting this whole past month disappear overnight. on November 1st. It will disappear. So
it's not going to disappear until the 3rd. On November 1st, crazy people like me are going to be lined up outside to try to scavenge up whatever they have left on sale.
Oh, really? They actually open on November 1st by you?
Yes.
They
usually they start marking things down on the 1st and 2nd, and then they're shut the doors.
Really? See, the last few years by us, they didn't even open.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were gone. We had one that was a tent in the shape of a pumpkin for years. You know what, though? Come to think of it, that was a Halloween Express, not a Spirit Halloween.
Okay.
I think that's different. But they didn't even open this year. I was shocked. I think Spirit has eaten up Halloween Express. We used to have more Halloween Express than Spirit. And now all of a sudden we got Spirit. Anyway.
We've got Spirit, so do you.
Oh my God. That's a good one.
Time to cut it off.
Cut him off. Find out what he's doing over there and stop it. Want to thank you all once again. And remember, folks, when you aim at horror, make sure you are dead on. See you next time. Otherworldlyculture.com.